will be enough to take them down. So I really want to see that utility getting utilized as much as possible. I actually see here Leeson is the only one without the OVA tag. This is a very arbitrary thing to note, but I'm just like, is he a sub? Is he not proud of his org? Come on, man.
Has he not been able to name change for another 30 days? There's
Oh,
so many
goodness
questions. But interesting
Never
enough,
know the answer.
interesting enough, you can already see a difference here where we have 2 ghosts on the side of John Howard, and then of course Monster there on the Killjoy coming with the classics. It'll be 3 ghosts versus 2 classics.
It's pretty standard. Ghosts tend to come out on top just because you can get a little bit more dink potential. But of course, that classic right click, not to be underestimated. Full posture towards the A site for the start here.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage that Distance John just took. B-Magic backing off over into lowers. Peggy no longer having a crossfire with DM Guard. At least B-Magic is able to self-heal as the wall's going to be coming out from the attackers, and it's not the standard wall we usually see. Peggy finds 2 as Leosin at least gets the trade, and now peeking out. Leosin manages to get 2, but DM God is going to shut that down as now 3 defenders versus only 1 as Monster pushes onto Distance John, who is already quite hurt. Now pushing through the wall. Toxic screen. McConaughey finds one. Can they find the next? And yes, they can!
Oh my goodness, what?
As now, it's McConaughey going up against Luke. The spike is in McConaughey's hands, and it's going to be sent over to B. There's still 30 seconds.
30 seconds left.
He's hoofing it!
And he drops the poison cloud as well as a misdirect. The rotation hasn't started yet. Okay, he's finally figured it out. Spike's gonna go down. Oh my goodness, what a round that we've had so far. But it's down to the 1v1, and of course, Consti very low on HP at the moment. It's gonna come down to that post-plant utility.
Well, it really depends how much utility McConaughey even has in the situation, as Luke still has 2 smokes to work with and the tailwind is activated. McConaughey does have 1 snake bite at the ready. Toxins go up and, oh my word, no. Okay, it is halfway. Now giving away their location. Luke makes a bit of damage but takes some too. There's the snake bite. Luke gonna be pushing up, but what's gonna be happening there? We've got to find the shot so close. And it looks like John Howard are gonna set the pace of the match, winning the pistol round on Icebox.
Luke was so done with that nonsense. He was just absolutely done. A snake bite comes out and he's just like, all right, you know what? I don't have time for this. I have more HP than you do. I have a classic. I can right click you. I'm finished. Dashes to yellow, ring around the Rosie, and yeah, McConaughey just cannot come out on top there. A very, very close round went down to the wire. I mean, it was, what, just under 2 seconds left to try and get that defuse. Ovation almost managed to play that time well. Now, what's really interesting is that Ovation opt to buy up. It's very seldom that you see a team lose the pistol round and then opt to buy up, because it's very high risk, high reward. If they lose this, they're not going to be able to buy up for at least 2 rounds.
Oh, and top that interesting usage of the Viper utility on defense, actually using the Poison Cloud in order to not allow anyone to go up on pipes, but however, Distance John is just going to take it anyways, as we did run out of toxins. And Luke, of course, with the Spectres, are going to be on site, but Floco finds the first pick to open up A site. Going to be finding another, as now the barrier orb actually blocking out Peggy, who managed to get a pick onto Floco anyways, being a little bit too aggressive, going on the outside. And Peggy's at least traded off. Monster on their own outside, whilst we have
1 enemy remaining.
Teammates and B-Magic just getting absolutely domed whilst trying to push up through stairs, and not much that Monster can do against Distance John's tailwind.
High risk, high reward pays off in the end. They only actually lose 1 player in that exchange, so now this is actually going to be a bonus round for Ovation. I wonder if Loco maybe buys like a sheriff or something? Okay, no, it looks like it's just going to be full armor so that he has funds going into the next round. They know that they're going to have a massive gun advantage, and of course, John Howard are not going to buy up too much this round. A Marshal and a Sheriff. Now, the Marshal... Okay, they sold it. I was just about to talk about how the Marshal didn't get too much value in the previous round. So instead, sticking to that classic. And I see Ovation posturing once again towards the A site. It has worked out very well for them thus far. Well, For one round, at least.
I mean, they also know that their weaponry is just far superior to what the side John Howard currently has, and already just pushing out, trying to find some shots and pre-fires, but oh my! DreamHack finds Leosin off the back of Peggy falling. A great movement from This Is John, although Luke finds the headshot regardless. And Floco not able to shoot at Luke as, once again, John Howard down to 2 players, at least picking up to a Spectre and going for the high ground. McConsty gets taken out. Plant is dropped, and Krovix gets taken down as well as Luke. It's 2 kills. Floco on their own finds a pick onto Monster, does have the Devour. Another Leo is ready to go, but opts to just take the fight where Luke is going to be winning it out because of the verticality.
For the second round, Luke comes up huge for John Howard. This has been fantastic. Manages to pick up that Spectre and just rinses through the last couple of players there. I think that was a 4K at the end of it. So 5 kills here. And I mean, that was a bonus round for Ovation. They are going to be able to buy up despite losing that round. And this is why that buy up on the second round is that kind of high risk, high reward, because even though they lost the second round, rather the third round, they're still able to buy up. So here on round 3, when this typically does happen, we are seeing rifles, but it's rifles just about across the board, with Luke sticking on that Spectre. He's going to be using that as a bonus, not wanting to spend the credits on a bigger gun, but obviously knowing that he has the blade storm, which he has just popped. Oh, the flick!
DreamHack not ready for McConsty pushing up, and as you see, the flick just finds ahead also quickly. Monster could potentially have a huge play here, or could just get taken out instantly from Floco. Finds 1, finds 2, that's the multi-kills I'm talking about, as Leosin comes back with the resurrection after finding the counter pick. Now the plant is going to be coming through onto B, but we have the defenders already moving in onto orange. Right with Spite. Does a bit of damage, but it's not quite enough to deter the plant. And Aldro now is discovering as much as he needs to. Leosin fully healed up, but DreamHack does not care because a headshot's still going to kill as Luke pushing in with the blade storm. Finds 1, can't find the second, but DreamHack is there on the flank and down they fall.
John Howard, our dark horse team, coming up huge here. Luke doing so much work. I think he only managed to get 2 kills in that round as well. It's been multi-kill city apart from the first round. And he's only died once as well. An Ovation. Looks like they're going to force up here. No, surely not. They do, they force up. Now, if they lose this, they get the loser streak bonus, which is good. So they might still be able to buy up in the next round. But of course, they're coming up against full rifles again, plus a Hunter's Fury and a Lockdown. I mean, there's some really big ults here.
Also, Guardian, I mean, it can work out really well, or it could be an absolute detriment to you. But Luke just hiding inside of the poison cloud. DreamHack, alongside Luke, finding picks on either side now. Ovation, Blade Storm in This Is John's hand. So, I mean, really, as you're talking about the buy-up, I'm starting to be increasingly worried about it.
We've managed to get the Viper's Pet online. Haven't popped it just yet. We do know that DreamHack likes to ult up on a site and deny rotations through that site. See what Peggy can get done here, the clutch guard. Doesn't manage to connect, but of course can give that information across so they know where the movement is coming.
Oh my word, This Is John actually finds the pick onto Luke. I was really worried about just flailing around there. DreamHack finds the pick onto McConsty as they try push up into Kitchen, and now we have a tailwind into there with just a blind Blade Storm right click. Doesn't find too much, and now This Is John, as much as they're finding picks, they're on their own, and without a team, you can't usually win out these fights. Peggy, really good peek there, not taking any damage themselves, and This Is John is in such a disadvantage. The entire team knows exactly where he is, and not gonna last much longer there.
That name tickles me. This Is John versus John Howard. Who is the real John?
I didn't even think of that, actually.
Wow. All right, Ovation with their very first pause of the series here on round 6. They are definitely concerned and floundering a little bit. 2 ultimates online versus John Howard's 4. We did actually see Ovation, like you mentioned, they committed the Blade Storm in the previous round, didn't really get too much out of that. I think they got maybe 1 kill off of that. John Howard are going to be able to come into this defense, so we'll likely see DM God, depending on what the buy is. Obviously, we haven't seen the economy for Ovation. If they look like they're actually able to buy up, we might just see that Viper's Pit on one of the sites to shut down that site and dissuade any push there. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the lockdown and the Hunter's Fury is available. This would be a prime time to use the lockdown purely because there isn't a Hunter's Fury available for Ovation. You really want to try and get that out before it can be quickly counted.
That's actually a very good point there. And another one I want to bring up with the ultimates is you can use your Viper Pit aggressively onto another one and try push in that way to kind of flood someone out of it. But looking at the way things are going already, seems like attackers once again wanting to push towards A.
Well, it is a full buy up for Ovation, so we might actually see those ultimates come out from John Howard. Can get a lot of utility out of that. They might also opt to hold onto them. Nope, there it is. DM God with the big plays. Viper's Pit down on A. Try and dissuade any sort of rotation there.
Already being revealed, which means that Disney verticality could be taken out. There's already a trade. Both Luke and Floco falling. That means that there's only a single duelist on the side of John Howard. Now Peggy falling to Leosin. This is John finding a pick as well. DM God pushing out through their own pit and finding 2 off of it. And now, as you say, there's a lockdown that can be used. It's all up to this singular player in Monster. Are they actually going to try and fight this or just stand back? Because Viper's Pit as well makes things increasingly difficult. I mean, what a committal here, Nori.
Spike planted.
Yeah, that's quite surprising. And unfortunately, Monster has no utility left. All of the nano swarms have been used. It's only really the lockdown. And do you really... Oh my goodness, he does. He commits the lockdown. That's hectic. I'm surprised to see so many ultimates being committed here in this round.
I mean, off of this, Monster knows that they have to back off, but needs to... Oh my word. Okay, bit of a fake. This push could be massive, but down the Vipers, but falls and finds both of them in there!
Don't interrupt.
Monster, you are insane!
I mean, that was brilliant. He just waits out the time. So he forces the Viper to have to leave the Viper's Pit. Once that happens, after about 12 seconds, Viper's Pit is gone. So he baits that out, taps the spike once, moves off to the side. They're not going to be checking that corner because they're not expecting him to be there. As they push through, they're lined up perfectly, and he gets a beautiful spray down. Ovation not expecting that, and that was a big committal from both sides, in fact, because John Howard dropped, what was it, 3 ultimates in that round? 2 or 3? Yeah. It's a lot. 2 ultimates, yeah. And Ovation dropped the Viper's Pit, which was expensive and unfortunately ineffective.
I mean, this is Ovation's map pick, and we've been told it's also considered one of their best maps overall. So seeing John Howard push them this hard, especially when I know Rook was mentioning before that you can often see Icebox as an attacker favorite map. This is impressive from John Howard. And of course...
Oh! Every time! Every single time he manages to dodge whatever utility is put on default. It's like they plant just slightly off of default so that the value from those mollies doesn't come through. It's ridiculous.
What we're seeing here as well, also that is Ovation are getting these singular trades, and it's just not quite enough because they lost a player early, and now it's even more uneven. Down 2 players, you can't trade even when you're behind.
Well, just because you get the spike down doesn't mean you're gonna win the round. Those post plants are super, super important. This was something that I mentioned in in our previous series, and again, it's coming up in such a big way here. You have to be covering those angles. You have to be covering the rest of your team. You can't really allow them to be solo peeking. And unfortunately, John Howard just seemed to have Ovation's number. They've built up another Blade Storm. They're still hanging on to the Hunter's Fury. And there's a res for those dire situations. However, Ovation have managed to build up 4 ultimates of their own. Theoretically, they should be favored in this matchup, and that is a very good pick to start things out.
Losing Luke is not what John Howard wants to have, and you could see how aggressive they were playing up in B long, and it just didn't quite pan out for them. Although, luckily, they do have the revive to kind of shore off their losses. Steam God waiting inside of his toxic screen. It's going to be player dropping down here, but is Steam God really prepared for what's about to happen? Goes, oh no, runs out into 3 players, all looking directly at them. And now Peggy trying to find out where players of Ovation are, and it seems like as soon as a little piece of John Howard falls apart, Ovation are taking every attempt they can to get an advantage. Peggy going to be jumping up on top of the wall, does find the pick as B-Magic also gets one onto McConsty. So now there's no more post plant. This is John finds a pick onto Monster with a fantastic shot, no doubt. Peggy gets the bomb halfway, and now it's all up to Flipko. 1 versus 2, but Luke's still in the same position, and nobody watching it.
Another really, really good retake. And this is something that I'd said about John Howard, and we saw this in our in the very first series of the day as well. Some teams just kind of flourish in those retake situations. And this is where John Howard are doing particularly well. I mean, they've only had 1 round that wasn't a retake, but that didn't involve the spike going down and then being diffused. So I've really enjoyed the way that they approach these defenses, how they approach each site once the spike has actually gone down. And again, it all just comes down to Ovation's post plants. If they're going to continue to try to go for post plants, then this could become dangerous. What I would like to see is maybe they start posturing to like
You will
kill.
not kill my allies.
Yeah, and I do feel like a little bit of a different strategy now, but this is actually pretty good. I mean, Ovation losing a player, but going up with the revive. John Howard does lose one, and oh my word, here's the Hunter's Fury. Leosin finds 2 more players over on B. Now going to be going for the default plant with this wall that blocks off orange. McConsty finds DM God, and now it's all up to Peggy. And oh my word, Peggy actually managed to stop the plant. There is a smoke over the recon bolt, but now another shock dart going to be used onto this. Johnny finds a pick as well. Peggy
Amazing.
is slowly but surely just picking apart the side of Ovation. Does get the flick, but no kill found just yet, and Peggy has to start playing a little bit safer as McConsty comes out from kitchen.
This is great work from Ovation. Now, I must say, so Peggy does a lot of work there, but this is the thing about these default plants. They generally tend to net the best results, those specific spots on each map. That's kind of why they become the default. But the big weakness with default plants is that everyone knows where they are. So as soon as you hear that the spike's gonna go down, you just aim there. I mean, Peggy can't see anything. There's like smokes in the way, there's like other players, it's chaos. But what he does know is, this is where default is. So I'm just gonna send my utility there, I'm gonna spray down there, and I'm probably gonna stop the plant. And that's why sometimes it can be very important to swap up where you plant that spike.
And Luke pushing out here on A. Leosin actually so patient, just waiting for a play here. I'm not sure what information they knew as to why, like, how they knew Luke was there, but good patience from Ovation at least, and depends really if we're going to keep on pushing this. And that's exactly what they'll do. Krovex finding the pick into DM God. There's 3 players there. Krovex couldn't really push it solo, and now Peggy throwing shock darts where there's no player. Just utilizing the lineups that they know. Unfortunate that it didn't really help out as much as it needed to, and now Recon Bolt not finding anything at all. Here we do have the lockdown. Leosin finds Monster, and Krovex following up with the Hunter's Fury.
This is worth celebrating.
Yeah, lockdown comes out, Krovex is like, nah, no Hunter's Fury for you. And to be honest, I mean, the Hunter's Fury wasn't even necessary, I don't think, because there was like, what, 2 players left alive? Hey, you can just push that. You know, wait for the lockdown to finish. But instead, they opt to use it. You can never be too careful. Don't ever disrespect your opponents. Don't ever underestimate them. Rather, put a little bit extra into it to secure yourselves the round. That's an interesting placement of the Nano Swarm. So it's not on that default spot. So it's trying to like stop the person from getting to default. As soon as the alarm bot goes off, you set off the Nano Swarms. You try and cut that off entirely. Can work.
It's
Gotta
interesting
put it
because
somewhere else.
yeah, I like it because it forces players to yellow, but there's no one in Snowman watching yellow in order to get the picks once the players are funneled. So I'm not too sure what the entire strategy is there, unless Monster's just playing out on their own and not really consulting their teammates with the placements. But if you look now on A, I mean, Ovation just want to keep on pushing towards A. Aldron, however, above them, is going to find out quite a lot of information for John Howard. And regardless, we are going to be playing aggressive and wanting to push in. DM God
Bye-bye.
waiting for players to come through, and both recon bolts not really finding any information. And even off of that, we do see a full rotation from Ovation.
Ah, nice. Code and you know it. Yeet, we out, boys. Draw a little bit of that utility and then yeet ourselves all the way over to the B side. But again, that default plant. Look, see, that's what I meant about the Nano Swarms. Like, it wasn't on the default spot, so it doesn't really accomplish too much.
That was really unfortunate. I mean, a little bit late from the side of Monster, but I could understand there was someone waiting in Snowman. If they did that and the person on Snowman swung out as soon as you had that go off, there would have been a little bit different, but nothing different to this is just picking up 3, make it 3 players and Krovix on 2. No, fantastic clean up there from both of these players.
Last round and a half, Ovation have seriously started to get things going here, and this is what I'd kind of been saying about how I wanted them to move away from playing post plant and rather focus on getting those frags so that you don't really have to worry about the post plant. It seems that once they started doing that, things started to go their way a little bit more. Now, Luke is on a judge, so this is obviously one of them forced buys. There's also a guardian on the field there, but this is John. He has had it. Not only has he bought an operator, he's also popped the Blade Storm. He wants absolutely everything available to him in his arsenal, and of course there's still a res available, so hopefully they'll be able to get something out of that. Ovation really, really desperately want to get this round.
Here.
Oh, and if anyone's going to do it, it is going to be Disses John. But oh my, DM God gets the information with a little bit of a head peek. Doesn't get shot off. Disses John playing a little bit safer with those shots. Doesn't want to re-peek after being caught unaware after a shot. And oh my word, look how quickly they're pushing up. Floco finds pick onto Peggy, and at least DM God is able to take them down right after the dismiss. And DM God finds following the barrier orb coming out, and now on the spike we have a snake bite and a fantastic clip from B-Magic finding. This is John and Krovex. Now McConsty once again, look at this, pushing in so deep but on their own. And there's at least a revive that comes through, finds 1 pick, finds 2. And it's all up to Luke and DM God inside of the Viper's Pit. Going to make things really difficult for McConsty, but there is a counters Viper Pit. 25 seconds on the clock.
Baited off the res, but it failed miserably. McConsty.
He's going to push into it and play in the high ground. We're not using the Viper's Pit, jumping in. It's going to be
it's all over.
Oh no. Oh no.
Running into a judge. That's probably one of the main reasons they had the judge. They were just like, all right, I'm going to pop my Viper's Pit, and then you just go burr with the judge. And we win these. And it worked!
Yeah, and they did wait for the Viper's Pit. They didn't just go with it out of nowhere. There was quite a big delay until it came out.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the best way to do it sometimes. I know that DM God really likes to pop them at the start of the round to deter any pushes onto the site, but sometimes it can be good to just hang back a little bit, wait until you know you have an advantage. I mean, the spike drops. Once it's on the floor, you can drop the pit on top of that, then you have full control of absolutely everything. You get just that little bit extra utility out of the Viper's Pit. So now we swap sides. midst of a bad situation for Ovation. They need to start trying to claw their way back into this.
Ooh. Not much contact just yet. I mean, we're aware that there's someone over in mid for Ovation defending. At least John Howard is, but of course that's not all that much. Oh, my Consti looks in a different direction. Not able to get the pick as B-Magic does have some assistance in a peek. And Loco, middle, does not find the hit, but does get dinked. Now 13 HP. This is falling apart a little bit for Ovation here on the defense. Losing one player. At least we do have a heal going up to Floco, but I mean, even then, it's difficult to kind of defend when you're behind. As once again, Krovix, a lot of damage being dealt, but Luke finds the headshot regardless. This is John, has a good little hidey hole here. Needs to find a way to get on top of this. So jumping up, giving away information, does find a pick onto B-Magic. No more Sage, but no more Reyna as Peggy gets her trade on that.
Oh.
Here.
2 versus 3. John Howard backing off a bit. As is right now, the snake bite over onto this planted spike. We are going to see a counter barrier orb and a pick onto Peggy as Leonan's just standing on top of their opponent's wall. DM God needs to find a way to get in on this. Oh my, DM God does find pick, but Leosin finds a trade, and this barrier orb's actually about to break. The pick needs to be had before we can get a defuser. No, Leosin!
No!
Leosin's not
Stuck
there!
on the wrong side!
DM God!
What the heck was that round, Jesse? Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
We had Sage will come up to block damage from, you know, during the spike plant. We had a counter Sage wall come up to try and stop the post plant utility, I guess. But then like the barrier orb drops and then you fall off the wrong side of the orb. There's no time left, and eventually it's just you run into the last player on the enemy team. No one can hit their shots. Knives come out. Oh goodness, what an absolute mess of a round it was. But does go in John Howard's favor in this time. Ovation not going with that high risk, high reward buy up on round 2. Instead, they bought some sheriffs, which is a little bit of an investment, but it's not as big as it could have been. Hoping to be able to buy up those rifles in the next round.
Monster's not aware there's going to be players so close. Oh, what a shot threading the needle!
Wow.
Floco finds a headshot into Monster. It was just a sheriff at least. Looks like John Howard down a... Oh, okay, Luke takes out Leosin.
Oh!
Down McConsty goes. I mean, Luke, double kill. Okay, you're playing Jet, we can see it. But This is John says, I'm playing Jet too, and finds another pick. Floco picks up B-Magic, and now 3 versus 2, favoring Ovation. Spike is currently planted, but This is John with the Sheriff is so powerful, although Peggy catching them unawares. And Floco going to be ending the round off. And technically, I mean, Ovation didn't spend as much that round.
I mean, yeah, this was essentially what they needed to do. And now these last 2 players are going to be able to pick up some guns off the ground, get some upgrades. Because, I mean, the rest of their team will likely be buying up here. Maybe? Alright, give me that. There we go. There's that scoreboard. That's what I needed to see. Ovation, yeah. So most of them buying up somewhat. No, don't get rid of it. Come now. 2 bulldogs, but the rest are rifles. Unfortunately, John Howard in a bit of a situation here. Luke buying that frenzy. We have seen some of those Ferrari peaks get quite a bit of value, but 3 rifles and 2 bulldogs. I don't know how much value you're going to be able to get out of this one. John Howard, if they win this round, they get up to double digits. So Ovation going to be doing everything they can to stop them in their tracks. Even if the Blade Storm available if they need it, need to double down here.
Yeah, and right away, Floco. With the Bulldog, we could see something amazing happen off this, but we're already seeing the wall and such a quick plant coming in from the side of John Howard. But down B-Magic goes. Although, look how close we're seeing some of these players positioned. Luke just behind the wall, going to peek. Not able to find the kill onto Floco, just the weapon difference showing up here. And wow, this is John, such an aggressive push.
Flawless.
It's what they needed. Ovation needed to push that as hard as they possibly could to shut down any possibility of that being a turnaround. Now, that was a bit of a you know, not great buy round as well for John Howard, but I mean, even this round, they should be able to. Okay, I think Luke pops the Blade Storm here and tries to find an upgrade instead, so that's why he's not going to be fine. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Players love
a little
trolling
bit
me. Done. I'm just done with their shenanigans, man. Let me analyze things. Come on. Pounds.
Right away, Luke pushing up onto the top of Tube. It's going to be pushed through the Poison Orb. B-Magic finds a pick onto Floco alongside DM God. And up they get boosted as well. This means that this is interesting use of the wall. They don't want to use it for the plant. Monster finds a pick onto Krovix because they push through mid so quickly. This is John finds one. Tailwind's out of there, but Peggy's pushing up A main and finds a kill regardless.
I think we saw this wall yesterday. We kind of made the same comments, like, what? But it's really cool. It helps you kind of get into mid really quickly without having to rotate around. Of course, it does put you in potential danger because they might see you pop up on the horizon. Oh my goodness, how players can get that! That's just
Consti's
illegal.
on their own. This is so harsh from a Consti right now, and John Howard showing that as much as Ovation can play quick and aggressive on the defense, John Howard can play even faster on the attack. Yeah, just push onto site and not allow. I mean, push through mid actually. That's even more ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, mid control is definitely not one of those massive components when it comes to Icebox. It's really great for setting up, you know, flanks and stuff, but mid control here isn't as important as as on a map such as Split or like Breeze. You will find teams generally tend to posture more towards a particular site. They might have a split moving through mid, but more often than not, it's just kind of pushed towards the site. And that's what we're seeing here again from John Howard, who have just hit double digits and have just discovered that there is an operator.
I mean, okay. I was going to say that regardless of the operator, they're pushing in, but they're actually going to back off now. And I mean, all 5 players, no split push here, no information gained, and that is definitely usually a detriment, but B-Magic finds the pick in mid regardless, and I keep seeing John Howard just winning out on these mechanical fights here, Nori.
Well, that's kind of the most important part. Everything else is secondary. You need to be able to hit your shots. You can have the biggest brain in the world, but if you can't hit your shots, you're never going to get anywhere. Ask me how I know.
Oh, tooting your own
slow
horn there,
experience, baby. I mean, tooting my brain, but not mechanical skill. Nah. That's the thing I don't have.
I must say, just commenting on the way we're seeing John Howard play, they play so aggressive at first, and now they're just playing it so slow, hoping that at least the operator's either been pushed off the site, rotated, or something, and now it's down to a 30-second push. This is John is watching this go completely dry. We see a collateral. And coming out from this, out comes the Blade Storm. Luke pushes up, but there's a trade from Floco. Monster at least does manage to find something. And Peggy's on side, alongside their teammates. Monster finds this is John, and the defenders managing to win that one out. That was so cool.
Value. What? Man, I have questions. Why do you line up double peek when you know there's an operator holding that angle? Like, okay, sure, you're kind of hoping that the operator has moved, but that's where you start to use those kind of jump peeks. You know, like you often see this in the like highest tier of gameplay where like a Sova will be kind of jumping and you just kind of see his cloak, and sometimes it'll bait out an operator shot, and then you know, oh hey, there's an operator there. Instead, they decide to just kind of full send it, no smoke, no flash, no nothing, and well, you see how well that worked out.
Yeah, and I think this is something that we might see again from John Howard. Oh my, this is John just okay. He's gonna get out of there, I hope. Tailwind didn't work out quite as planned, but the Consti's there to cover up any mistakes that their teammate makes. And this is where we're seeing Ovation come in their own now. John Howard down 2 players. They're on a save. And as much as Ovation is hurting, bleeding out from the Consti right now, but even then there's an operator waiting over here, and if we see the potential for a plant, oh my, I didn't actually see this push up. What? So
amazing!
What a reckless play from This Is John, but it works out, and a fake on the plant. Wait for it, and there we go, lining up once again from the Consti.
That thing I said about planting on defaults and everyone knows where the default is? Yeah! And of course, this is John showing us why the operator is so terrifying in the hands of a Jet, and why really Jet is the only agent that tends to play that operator. I mean, you get the occasional like Killjoy or like Raze, but 99.99% of the time it is going to be on a Jet purely because of that ability. Draft up, get the kill, dash away, clean break, scot-free. And this is John, I just want to point out, is on 25 kills. Ovation definitely turning things around here on this defense.
And I mean, I was worried about Ovation coming into this. They're definitely concerned as the more structured team in regards to this, the plays that we're seeing. But now from John Howard, of course, here is the lockdown, and we will see a dash coming in from Luke. At least able to push onto the site. Floco, oh my word, hiding in the only spot that the lockdown doesn't quite hit on aim. Spike is possibly getting rid of some utility. And I mean, oh Luke, what a lovely position over here for the attack. Actually, doesn't manage to get the pick, but really how much damage it does deter the push, but not at all. I take it back. Floco pushes through regardless. Luke does get resurrected, but Floco just dashing into the right, finding two what? This is so strong. Not able to find the final ones, but has. Oh my.
Bro, that's illegal. Alright, can we get the TOs in here? Because I'm pretty sure he broke some kind of a rule. I don't know which one, but like, what? That was insane. The Empress popped and just completely rinses through 3 players and still gets the Viper, who knew he was there the whole time, might I add? Nah.
I mean, that just shows you the amount of power that you can have with the Reyna in their ultimates. Having the Empress up, being able to have all of the orbs automatically heal you just from line of sight, and having infinite dismissals. I mean, you're going to use it, and you're going to absolutely shred through, regardless of plays being inside of a Viper's pit.
I'm straight up self-destructing at this point. Like, nah. Does not compute. That's a big Hunter's Fury. Use the Recon Bolt to you know, find out that there are people in mid. Tosses out the Hunter's Fury to try and slow things down a little bit, but unfortunately, one player on Ovation is gonna get knocked off.
Yeah, I mean, Yosin trying to push up behind the Hunter's Fury, but just good foresight from John Howard, knowing that with that strategy there will be a player pushing up behind it. Okay, the pick, and now attackers actually knowing that there's no more utility that's being used in mid, they want to push it.
Oh, this is so scary. We know that the operator is going to be holding on B for a little while. It's a bit harder to try and get that flank through there. Krovex gives away his position, loses the 1v1. Oh, that's so unfortunate. 2 players down for Ovation, and John Howard looking good here.
I mean, Luke being able to get that was just something else. DM God can take out This Is John, and now Ovation's defense is absolutely crumbling. I mean, John Howard moving up now, if they're able to turn things around away from Ovation getting so many rounds in a row, this half could start looking a little bit different. The reveal them, and they still turned around to try and get rid of the dart. McConaughey.
Unfortunate.
Looks like we'll be going for a save, and I mean, they have such a large economy. I almost hope that they would want to push onto more of John Howard's players to get rid of some of their economy.
I think this is more of like a wrap around to try and get an exit frag. I doubt he actually tries to save you, because again, I mean, there's quite a big penalty for trying to save. Oh, okay, he saves. All right, well, I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, the economy is massive, so that's surprising. This is John is even going to be buying all the way up to an operator. I feel like if you save in that round, then you buy the operator, but you can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
That 1,000 credit disadvantage, you know,
that's why I find it a bit strange there. I mean, I can understand at the heat of the moment, you're like, hey, I don't really want to like push up, but you could have at least shored a bit more of an advantage for the future rounds. I'm going to see them posturing once again more towards this mid side. I like that they do have
a little bit of some movement towards the A side to get some information. They haven't gone anywhere near B, apart from the turret. So, kind of not possibly expecting that that's where the operator
Oh my.
is.
I can see them push up. Oh! Dashes into Krovex's. Oh, but there's another one. There's no way he expects that twice from mid. And now, once again, Ovation falling apart. Leosin at least manages to get a 2K here. And I take it back. This is John has an operator as well. If Peggy manages to push through this, oh my. This could be a legendary wraparound.
Oh no no no! Oh,
Oh my.
oh no!
Ways! Oh.
Okay, I gotta say though, like, so Krovex is busy spamming down mid, but it's like they count the shots, and as soon as he retreats to, you know, go for the reload, that's when the dash comes in, and Luke's like, all right, I'm coming for you. But he whiffs all of his shots, and Krovex takes him out. The trade comes in, but like, that's a super unfortunate thing to be happening.
Yeah.
And then like, that lurk that just completely fell apart. The timing just was not there. John Howard, a valiant attempt there, but we're seeing Ovation getting so much closer now. Getting so close to a potential overtime. You know, we're at 11 and 10 here. Whichever team wins here might snowball themselves to at least one more round. So there's a lot of potential for that overtime.
Oh my. Slow up coming out, so everyone default. We do have the toxic screen just from both sides on A actually. So the attackers are going into a very stacked site. Updraft comes through, they know that the L drone's around, but the defense is just holding so far back because they know that there's ultimates on the side of John Howard. They want to make sure that they find picks before they decide to do anything. And shot shots are going to be coming out and nothing really found yet. Luke actually picks up the first kill, but Krovex at least finds B magical for the back of that. That means there's no more stages on either side, and we have the attackers with the wall art, and Floco doesn't actually see this player. And oh no, once again, we're seeing some of Ovation just not able to really land the shots when they absolutely have to. John Howard get the plant off the back of that, and I mean, we see this time and time again. Sure, having some discipline on your sprays is important, but if you're not finding the picks with it, it doesn't quite work out now, does it? This is John falls to monster.
That timing is really what screwed them in the end there. Waiting, because like, so the Viper passes to get the plant. He spots the jet, waits for the jet to go onto rope, starts firing as jet kind of gets behind the edge of the building, and as that happens, someone else peeks around the corner and gets the pick. Like, the timing there was just really, really unfortunate. Is good is that they're at least able to, you know, hang on to that operator and get it back, to give it back to John, because John has just been an absolute demon with it. But I said, you know, whoever won that round has the snowball potential. We're on match point here, and Ovation cannot afford a slip-up. They're still able to buy into this round. We've got dueling Blade Storms available, but they're also going to be contending with a Hunter's Fury, which is so good for clearing angles and helping get them onto site. What is a little bit scary is John Howard are leaning towards the B site, and that's where this operator is.
Or if we see another Collas or something, it's Ovation's going to steal the show. And if I talk about stealing the show, and down Luke goes, Hunter's Fury are going to be coming out to try and chase someone down. They could get some information, but they're not finding the picks, and Hunter's Fury just about wasted there. If we used it a bit earlier, I mean, maybe we would have seen something, but great use of updrafts there from Dissus John. The magic giving us some, oh my, the resurrection, okay.
That's
okay, I
big.
do quite like that. That's huge.
Using the Hunter's Fury to clear out the angle so that B Magic can get in onto site and get that res up. Now, we've already had the Blade Storm popped from Dissus John, but Floco, of course, has the A site on lock. Monster's flank is shut down. And John Howard, they don't have another res. This is it. It's 4v5. They have to make this work if they want to win this out.
Oh my, Dissus John with the operator is absolutely disgusting. Krovex finding Peggy as well, so...
30 seconds left.
John Howard only on 2 players right now. Viper and the Sage. It's don't think there's really much they can do on their own, but they're going to be trying to. Krovex finds B Magic's head, finds the spike. DM God on their own on site, and knows that the Ocean is up there, but not able to get it. Going to go for the save. Of course, John Howard is on match point here, Nori, but
10 seconds
Ovation are
left.
slowly but surely bringing it back.
Yeah, I mean, there's no time. John Howard's nowhere near the spike. Time is ticking down. Round is over. Oh, running for his life. He wants to try and get like an exit frag if he can,
Oh,
but
he also
nah.
just sprays.
I mean, the poison cloud, they know it's not their poison cloud, so they just, you know, spray through it and get the pick. John Howard, though. Oh!
I, like this timeout. I really like this timeout for John Howard. If there's ever a time, it's now.
On match point?
On match point, yeah. I mean, Ovation's one away from pushing it to overtime. You got to make sure that doesn't happen. Take away your opponent's chances.
Well, the thing is, John Howard's probably forced onto an eco here because their economy was, for like the split second that I got to see their economy, I think they might be down onto an eco, which is definitely not ideal because again, it's one of those moments because they're on an eco round, whichever team wins this one, it's again that kind of snowball momentum. If Ovation wins this round, there's every possibility. Well, I mean, it takes us into overtime. And then we start with the 5,000 credit thing. So just off the back of the fact that this is a potential eco for John Howard, they realize how important this is and how they need to plan. They've got Bladestorm available. They should be reasonably close to another couple of ultimates. We'll have a look here once it pops up. Yeah, I mean, look at that economy. It's going to be so busted.
It's a shambles.
It's horrific.
Especially with this as John an operator, the last thing you want is having to use close range weaponry. Unless we see some sort of insane rush onto B. And if there was ever a time, looking at the way that Ovation is actually set up, it's now.
All right, let's see what the plan is here, because I'm kind of feeling the overtime. Hunter's Fury coming out. No way! Oh.
That was such a good recon dart, able to find out exactly where the players were. And we don't have rotations coming off of A yet, but you can see mid. Krovex slowly pushing a little bit more towards where John Howard were, and now covering mid as Luke is going to pop the knives. Bladestorm is at the ready for John Howard. They do get the orb for the lockdown as well, and it's all about how they want to utilize what they have in their arsenal. And already this full rotation from Ovation onto B, which means that A is open. But how is this going to pan out? Because they're going to take it so slow. They need to be super careful with the buy they're on. Oh my word, McCarthy's going to be the first person to get contact as lockdown's being used, but you're not really going to get much from it.
No Hunter's Fury to try and shut it down, so it will at the very least clear the site. Well, they've picked up an ult orb, and that's going to get the Viper's Pit online. That's quite big. Getting orb control there, massive. So now with the Viper's Pit online, they should be able to get the chance. They still have the Bladestorm available, but still have to contend with that operator.
Oh. Spike planted in the nick of time. Not much left around. This rotation is huge. Monster, please hold something close. And actually hiding inside Ovation's toxic queen. Managed to find the pick as Lukeson gets it onto Monster as Luke needs to pop off the Bladestorm. He finds two! And it's down to just 2 versus 2. Ovation, no, doesn't manage to get the Krovex with this frenzy. No, not able to get it. John Howard are going to be able to win it out on a